This video is all about how to make a talking digital character or avatar using Voki.com. Once you've signed up for a free account and signed in, you can just click the Create button in the upper left corner to get started. Voki will randomly give you a character on the screen that you can work with. If you don't like the character that you got, you can click this die and you'll randomly get another character. Notice that some of the characters have a banner across the corner that says only in Voki Classroom. Those are reserved for paying customers. Most of the time though, you're going to want to create your character piece by piece by going here where it says customize your character. I'll click on the head and shoulders icon and it brings up a bunch of different characters. Notice that these all have a cap, a graduation cap in the corner. That means that they're reserved for the paying customers. But I can click on another set of images and characters. And you can also see here, it looks like there are just 3 sets of characters to choose from, but that's not true. I can click this arrow, or the arrow here at the left, to browse through many other sets of characters, and you'll see that there are many that are not reserved for the paying customers, but are for everyone to use. I'll select this character. Notice that the characters in Voki react to your mouse. As you move your mouse around the screen, they do react a little bit. Next, I can click on the hair icon, and sometimes the characters have the option of removing their hair or choosing a different hairstyle. It really just depends on the character that you pick. Sometimes there are mouth options, not in this case, and sometimes you can change the facial hair of the character, adding mustache, beard, things like that. There are also some clothing options sometimes, and again it just depends on the character that you happen to choose, but you may be able to customize the clothing, and sometimes you can change the bling of the character. I'll click done. Now there are some other ways that we can tweak these characters in Voki. Notice that there is a tweak tab down here underneath the character, and I can change the size of the mouth, nose, the body, height of the head, and the width of the head. So there are some good options that we have for changing how the character looks. There's also some color options. If I click on color, it allows me to change sometimes the hair color of the character as well as the eye color. There's one other way that you can change the character and the way he or she appears on the screen, and that is to click and drag and move the character around. Do you want the character at the left, at the right? How much of the character do you want to be visible? So you can choose that by clicking and dragging on the character herself or himself. Other visual options that you have, you can change the backgrounds. It just randomly gives you a background to start, but I can click on backgrounds and I could choose a better background for my character depending on the story that I want to tell or what I want my character to say. And just like with the characters themselves, notice that there are many sections here of backgrounds to choose from. When you're ready, just click done. Another option is to import your own photo to use in the background of your Voki character. You can click this upload background button to choose a picture that's on your computer, and that way you could put your own real-world backgrounds into your Voki. I'll click done. The last visual option that you have really in Voki is the digital player in which your character plays. Right now mine is brown, but I could click on players and choose a different color if I prefer. At this point, I can now give my character a voice. Notice that there are 4 ways to give Voki characters a voice. One of the most popular options is text to speech. You can just click that keyboard button and type in what you want your character to say. If you want a preview, you can click the preview button.
Before E, except after C.
There are some great voice and accent options. You can change the language of the character. Sometimes this can be confusing. Some people assume when they see Spanish there or French that Voki will translate the text that you type. That is not true. What you're doing here is you're choosing the accent language of the character. So if I were to click play, and I'll do that in just a second, you'll hear that it's still English. It's just the character is reading it with a Spanish accent.
Except after C.
So that's not really what you would want. You would instead change this text and type in Spanish, and then it would sound correct and be understandable in Spanish. I'll switch back to English. Notice that I can keep it in English, but choose a character from the United Kingdom to say the words, or from Australia, or Scotland, or the US, and there are male and female voices to choose from.
I before E, except after C.
I'll stick with that. And then the last item that you need to know here is that you can click on Effects and add a special effect to the character.
I before E, except after C.
I before E, except after C.
So you can play around with those if you're interested in adding a special effect to the voice. So that's one of the more popular options when creating a Voki. But notice that you can also give your character a voice by clicking the microphone button and recording your voice into the Voki. If I were to click here to allow access to the microphone, I could then record my voice into Voki, and the character's mouth would match the words that I say. A third option is to give your character a voice by recording your voice through your cell phone. If you click this phone button, it gives you a long distance number to call, and that's why I say cell phone is probably the best option if you're going to do this, so that you don't end up paying too much. But you can call that number. It will ask you for a passcode. This is the passcode that you would type, and then anything that you say into the phone will be recorded and attached to your specific Voki that you're working on. A fourth option is this folder. If you click that, it allows you to upload a pre-recorded voice recording from your computer, and it attaches it to the Voki. Now with the free Voki account, you are limited to 60 seconds of audio per Voki character. So if I wanted this particular character to give a long speech about a topic, I could do that, but I would have to break the content up into maybe 2 or 3 different Vokis, perhaps using the same character, the same background, everything the same, but have a part 1, a part 2, part 3. When you're satisfied with your Voki, you can click the Publish button, name your character, save it, and I'm done. I'll click Close. Voki then gives me a series of different options for sharing this Voki with other people. Notice that I can add it to my site, and I can choose the different sizes that I might want, and depending on the options that I choose, it generates a code for me that I can copy and paste as an embed code into my own website. If that's too hard, or if it doesn't work on your website, you could simply just get a link to the Voki, a standard Voki link. There it is. If you want to share your Voki in a more informal way, you can send it to a friend. If you click Send to a Friend, you can put your name, your email address, and then enter your friend's email address. Put in a subject and a message, and you can send that Voki directly to your friends. You can always find your Vokis that you've made in the past by going to the My Voki tab, and it will load up a directory of all the different Vokis that you've made. So this version of Voki is limited to 1 minute of audio per Voki. However, for many teachers and students, that's a perfectly fine amount of time, and if you really need more, you could break it up into part 1, part 2, part 3. But if you'd like more, or if you would like more powerful features and more characters, there are some pricing options. You can click here on Pricing, and you can see that you can get a Voki Classroom version of Voki, or a Voki Presenter version, and there are some really good features that are built into those.